What's happening, folks? Another educational video for you here today, and we are talking about training structure for hypertrophy or size and how you can effectively write your own programming to gain muscle if you follow these simple principles that I'm going to break down here for you. So let's do that. Let's break it down. So a lot of this here is just chicken scratch and abbreviations, so don't worry about that. It's just a shitty chalkboard in my garage gym. But I wanted to explain to you how I gained 13 pounds in 5 weeks. Now, to be clear, that's not just 13 pounds of muscle. Something that occurs when you're massing effectively is you gain a little bit of body fat and you run into some water retention, right? So that's just something you gotta get comfortable with. So this is a 5-week routine. Currently I'm in week 6, which means I'm in a active recovery or deload week, which is really important, and we'll get to why that's important here towards the end of the video. However, let's start with exercise selection. What matters most for training? Exercise selection, volume, intensity, and frequency, and of course, recovery. So we'll start with exercise selection. So this is my 5-day-a-week, 5-week push-pull legs variation. So essentially, workout A, we have got 3 chest exercises, 1 pulling exercise, and some abs. Workout B is all legs, back squats, front squats, Nordic curls on the glute ham developer, and some calf raises, and then it's rest day, okay? Workout C, we have got 3 pulling exercises, vertical, horizontal, and 1 pushing exercise and some abs. So that's basically the complete opposite of workout A. So that frequency is there, right? Push, 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 pull, and then legs, rest, and then pull, 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 push. And then workout D, we've got another leg day. However, this one's more posterior chain dominant because we're doing deadlifts and Ukrainian deadlifts. We're also doing some lunges and front squats, of course, too. So that frequency's there for the quads and the glutes. And then workout E is just something to add some extra volume and frequency again. So this is curls, skull crushers, presses, shrugs, pull-ups again, wide grip, incline bench press, and sit-ups again, or an abdominal exercise, okay? So let's break down why I would write my routine this way, okay? So a lot of this is actually just 2 sets, sometimes 3 sets. And if you look at that, if the untrained eye looks at that, they'll go, that's not enough, right? But the overall volume throughout the week is there, not to mention the frequency. So you have to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture here, okay? So if I just do 2 sets of, say, a chest movement, it doesn't sound like a lot, but you have to remember I'm doing it again in workout C, which is 1, 2, 3 days later. Same with the legs. I'm hitting them, doing a rest day, doing another workout, upper body, and then hitting them again, right? So that frequency is there, not to mention some of these upper body accessory things on the last day, workout E, before my second rest day of the week. So really, you're stimulating, you're creating enough stimulus for growth, you're recovering from it, and then you're creating that stimulus again once or twice more in the week. So the overall volume might be more than your average split, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with splits. They're obviously very effective. I just prefer to keep it a little bit more interesting and go for frequency. My body tends to adapt to that a little bit better than just blasting my chest on one singular chest day. However, both are very effective. You just gotta find what works for you. This is how I like to do it. All right, so that's my exercise selection and frequency. Important stuff. Now let's dive a little bit further into the details, okay? What we're using here is reps in reserve, or RIR, okay? So weeks 1 and 2, I'm going 3 RIR. So example of what that means. Let's say that I know that I can take 100-pound dumbbells and do 10 reps, right? I almost fail on the 10th rep. If I was to take those 100-pound dumbbells in weeks 1 and 2, I would stop at 7, okay? I'm not going to failure here. You don't want to kick off a new routine right out of the gate and go straight to failure. I know there's some conflicting ideas around that. However, anecdote and data will tell us that it's not necessary. That being said, those who are enhanced can get away with that a lot more than those that aren't, okay? So if you're not enhanced, don't do that. Now, weeks 1 and 2, 3 reps in reserve. So I'm stopping 3 reps short of failure, essentially, okay? So I started off this routine after being sick, so not as strong as I was normally, and I wasn't trying to go super crazy. I'm just trying to get enough stimulus for growth, okay? So let's just use this incline chest press here. I did the 75s, and I did that for 3 sets, so I did 15 reps in the first set, 12, and then 10 in the third set, okay? All I need to do The following week, while maintaining 3 reps in reserve, is just beat that amount of reps. Super simple, right? So instead of 15, 12, and 10, I did 16, 15, and 15, okay? That's weeks 1 and 2, 3 reps in reserve. Now, weeks 3 and 4, I'm gonna go a little bit closer to failure, but not completely. So I went to 2 reps in reserve, okay? So my dumbbells at home, I don't have anything between 75 and 95, so I had to jump to 95-pound dumbbells. So in weeks 2, I went 13 reps, 12 reps, and 11 reps with the 90-pound dumbbells and the incline chest press. And week 4, I just had to beat 13, 12, and 11. I went 14, 13, and 12. Just 1 rep more than the previous week, and that's enough. If you calculate the volume, it's a couple hundred pounds more volume that your body is forced to adapt to by what? Getting stronger and growing muscle if you're in a calorie surplus. And then the final week, week 5, is that peak week. And we are training closer to failure here. So my suggestion here is to go 1 rep in reserve, 1 rep short of failure on the bigger movements, the multi-joint movements, and then the single joint movements that don't tax your central nervous system and have less injury potential, like bicep curls. You can blast those to absolute failure, not a big deal. Next week, you're recovering fully, okay? So week 5, you can see that I'm already kind of getting a little bit fatigued here. I actually ended up doing a little bit less than week 4 on 2 of my sets. It just kind of showed that my fatigue was there, right? Instead of 14, 13, and 12 at 90 pounds, I did 15, which is better than 14. I did 13 again, which is not better than 13. And then I did 8 instead of 12, right? Just a little beat up, just a little bit of fatigue. Fatigue accumulates as you get to that peak phase. And as I always say, fatigue is the enemy of performance. If you don't watch it, you don't allow yourself to recover fully, or if you just come right out of the gate and start training to failure in week 1 and 2, you're capping yourself off too soon. You have to leave some room for growth. Now, that being said, you're going to run into workouts that just aren't your best performance on occasion, right? In fact, you've made it if you run into those workouts more frequently. The main thing is that you show up and do the work, right? So after that poor performance day, that push, pull day, I actually slept great. I ate a ton of food. I ate a massive bowl of macros and cheese, which is basically my low fat, high protein, high carb macaroni and cheese before bed. I mean, I'm talking like about 150 grams of carbs before bed. So this day I probably ate about 450, 500 grams of carbs. And then the following day, I actually hit a few PRs on my leg day. So it just goes to show you got to be careful that you don't start believing these narratives and just get a little bit intuitive. But that takes time to develop that level of intuitiveness, right? Fact of the matter is, you've got to show up and do the work regardless of how you feel. Unless, of course, you're dealing with something like serious, like a severe illness. All right, my friends, to wrap it up, we've got the trusty whiteboard out. And as you can see, I'm a very good artist. I even drew a pretty little balloon over there, okay? Now, the reason I put that there is for an analogy that I like to use, okay? Imagine if you let go of a balloon that's full of helium and it floats up to the ceiling and then just stops there, has no more room to grow. It bounces there for a second and then eventually comes back down, right? This is essentially what happens when you kick off a new routine and go straight to the point of diminishing returns. The point of diminishing returns is when you try and go beyond that, like you are overreaching or overtraining, which is a thing, under recovering is also a thing. You eventually start to go backwards, right? You don't leave any room for growth. You go straight to that point of diminishing returns and there's no more progress, right? Imagine trying to do max effort deadlifts every week or max effort anything once or twice a week. Eventually, you just go backwards. That load starts to feel heavier. Fatigue accumulates, not good, okay? So, to break down what I explained to you with the routine I did for 5 weeks, which I'm going to repeat after my deload week, I started off with the MED, the minimal effective dose, okay? Enough stimulus to create growth, but nothing crazy, right? I'm leaving room for growth, right? This is the room for growth, okay? In week 1, I'm just kind of testing the waters. I'm seeing where I'm at, right? I'm logging it. Week 2, still minimal effective dose. I'm just doing a little bit better than I did in week 1, okay? Then in week 3 and 4, I will call this the accumulation phase, right? I'm taking the weights up and I'm pushing a little bit more, a little bit closer to failure, right? 3 reps in reserve, minimal effective dose, 2 reps in reserve accumulation phase, right? So closer to failure, more weight, a little bit more volume, okay? Finally, I go into week 5, which is my peak phase. That's where I'm going a lot closer to failure, if not to failure, depending on the movement, right? That's really close to that point of diminishing returns. That's where that balloon is bouncing off the top. In fact, I even noticed it, like I mentioned in a couple workouts, that I wasn't performing that great simply due to the fact that that fatigue was accumulating. So you drop off, go into your deload, and then rinse and repeat, okay? So you can start off your next mesocycle with the minimal effective dose again, but you can look back at your training logs and do a little bit more than you started with. Now, the more you run through these mesocycles annually, you will get stronger and bigger, right? It's a cyclical thing. That's the beauty in this periodized model, especially if you pay attention to detail and log what you're doing, right? So if you started off your first minimal effective dose mesocycle and you benched, let's say 135 for 10, and then you go through and you do more and more and more, and then you drop off, your second mesocycle, you could start off at 140, 145, even 150, right? And accumulate, peak, and then drop off, right? And then instead of 140, 145, 150 for your third mesocycle, it could be 160, 165, whatever, right? See what I mean? It grows and it grows and it grows. All right, my friend, thank you for watching, and know this, when you just start lifting weights and cleaning up your diet a little bit, you do see some progress kind of regardless of what you do, because it's basically a new stimulus to your body, right? It's all new stuff. However, that newbie gains phase is short-lived. Eventually you hit a plateau, it becomes frustrating, and you don't really know what to do. So if that sounds like you, you can always hit the link in my bio and schedule a free strategy call with me, and we'll chat about that. The other thing is that all these concepts in this video here today are all in my Gainz Changers ebook. And that is a program that comes complete with video instruction and nutritional guidelines so that you can learn how to eat and train effectively for continual growth. And most importantly, you can learn how to do this on your own forever. All right, my friends, thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.